I'm going to be discussing with someone who's going to be giving us 1 or 2 tips around securing the bag. Yeah, securing that ching, okay? Because we need that extra money. Alright guys, so let's do this. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and I'm still your girl Woona. On this week's episode, I am so super excited because I've got someone special with me. Remember at the beginning of the year, I told you guys I was looking forward to do a lot of collaboration this year, bring people on board on my channel who have truly blessed me and inspired me, and this wonderful person is one of them. I'm not gonna let the cat out of the bag. You guys will have to meet her. She'll introduce herself and we'll get the show started. For me, I would say I'm blessed. I have thousands of friends, and from that thousands of friends that I've got a good handful that I could say are truly friends who have become like sisters to me. As the Bible says that there's a friend who sticks closer to one like a sister or brother, and she's truly one of them. Because it's good to have people around you whom you party with, you do life with, but what's the point of friendship if they don't inspire you to want to be a better version of yourself, thrive financially, spiritually, and all-rounder in life? She's someone whom I've watched her journey, and she's blessed me in so many ways, and I want you guys to be inspired by her story as well. So join me this week in welcoming this amazing person. Are you excited? Because I am, and I'm ready to go. So let's do this.
Hey Woona, that was such an intro. Okay, well, a little bit about myself. My name is Bimbola Saige. I am, where do I start from? I'm a woman who wears so many hats. And depending on what day of the week or what time of the day.
Oh yeah!
I'm a full-time property investor. Is what I do full-time. I go around looking at properties, buying them up, doing joint ventures with people to create a portfolio of properties for long-term investment. I have my own portfolio, which is to the tune of about 4 million.
Oh shit!
That is a property that I've purchased over the last 15 years. So I started investing in properties 2005 when I bought my first property, and then in 2008 was when the journey really started.
Okay.
I was buying up every single time I had money. I would buy a property.
Slow down. Don't spill everything just yet in one go. Just do the intro and we will get into the whole juicy bit, okay?
All right, so I'm a property investor. I am a mom of 4 children.
Woo!
The fantastic 4.
Yes!
I'm a wife. I've been married for what? 13? Actually, oh my God, I've been married 14 years.
Wow, glory.
Is it 13 years? Anyway, I've been married for a long time. I am a co-founder of a prayer group as well. So I'm a woman of faith. The prayer group is called Pray Without Ceasing. I'm a founder of an investment club, which I call the BOOB investment club. We are our own bank investment club, and I am the joint venture queen. I am all about collaboration, so I really resonate with what you're saying, Woona. Collaboration, working with people, team building, and all sorts. And I am also one of the executives of a networking group called the Pet Network. I podcast. Oh, I shouldn't forget that.
Yeah!
I podcast. I've got 2 podcasts, a property one, which is called Propcast, and a lifestyle one called Best of 2 Podcasts. And you can find both on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes.
We'll put all the details in the description box. Okay, so let's get on to this. I am so super pumped and excited now. Thank you for that intro. Okay, so just had that wonderful intro. You see that I couldn't have done it justice if I even tried. Like, that's I just respected myself. Just let me put a disclaimer out there. So guys, it might seem like you're not included in this conversation by the time we get into it, because we'll be looking at ourselves and getting into it. But do bear with us. As you know, I've got only just the one camera. We'll try and be conscious enough to remember to look in and engage with yourselves. We're doing the most as we can. Alright, let's break the ice. Can you tell them the first time we met? When she told me about this, I was like, Jesus Christ, these shites. You need to go and be prayed for. And I was like, goodness, I'm so embarrassed, but it's fine. Look, I'm happy. Share anything
It's
to do
not
with
embarrassing. It's not embarrassing. We met. This was 2000 and so many years ago.
Yeah.
6 years ago.
Yeah,
7 years
14
ago.
or 15,
Oh wow.
I guess. Yeah.
So we were invited. I was invited by a dear friend to her husband's birthday party. Yeah. Was it a surprise?
No, it wasn't, but yeah.
Birthday party in
Spain.
Destination party, and you know, I was really excited about going. So anyway, we got to the airport here in the UK, and I noticed a lot more black faces than
usual. So she knew this
I bet the people are going to the same place as we are. But you know, I noticed Woona as one of the couple, and there was something quite interesting about her, even the way she dressed, her looks. You were actually looking very exotic.
Thank you very much. We tried to try.
You didn't have to try. You were it. So I noticed her. I'm like, this girl looks interesting, and I bet they're going to the same place we're going to. So you know, we're all on the same flight, and then we got to Spain, and then I think we had to get a car. And your husband got a BMW, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
The rest of us got like really tiny cars. We got a little mini or something. One and the husband got a very fast BMW. And then the journey to the villa started.
Oh my
God. We're trying to keep up with you guys. It was so much fun. We're like, what, this couple, they're driving too fast. But you know, it was so much fun. You know, went on this trip, got to know Woona, very interesting character, very, very lovable person. And so that's how we started, that's how we met, right?
Oh, yes, yes.
And I realized that actually we don't live too far from each other.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Oh my God. I try. Honestly, guys, I try to be good, you know.
You are good. You're good.
To shred out the drama, but it wouldn't leave me.
Good character. Good character. Dramatic character, but good.
Oh my goodness, drama follows me everywhere I go. So thank you for sharing that with us. I mean, for me, I know about generating multiple revenue streams of, you know, source of income. In the world that we live and lead, it is important. Your take-home pay is not enough. It doesn't even stretch enough to cover, you know, the basics, and not to talk of, you know, the new world we live in now. We're traveling more, we want to enjoy ourselves, you know, we want to pay a bit more for that experience, and your 9 to 5 won't cut it, you know, if we're being realistic. And it's not about living out of your means or anything. It's just the way it is. Based on statistics,
income is just not enough to make the lifestyle.
Your income doesn't even increase the way the inflation increases. Yeah. So it's not even. It's just like the whole game is rigged to get you trapped in this rat race of a life that we live. So it's not about, you know, someone trying to spending above your means. That's not it. I feel the system is already rigged anyway, but that's another topic for another day. I mean, I was truly inspired, you know, with how your journey, how you view your property portfolio, and I thought it was really good because it's a breath of fresh air. It's good to see women, because you know everybody is turning up baby girl for life, everything. Please, can we be realistic? How is this supposed baby girl for life sponsored? God say. And I want to say, it's not without risk. I mean, it's not like property is easy to just get into and, you know, dip in out. But
well, to be fair, it's not without risk, for sure. Like any kind of investment that you do, there's always a risk element as well. But I think if you think about, I think of property as a long-term investment. You know, so because it's long-term, my risk becomes minimized as I go along. At some point in the journey, I'm able to extract what I've been putting in, you know, so whether from the rental income or by doing a refinance, remortgage, or whatever money I put in gets pulled out, and then literally, you know, your return from then on becomes infinity. So basically your risk gets reduced as you go along. So property for me is a long-term investment. But I just kind of wanted to talk about how I started, because like you said, you know, we are in a world now where your income is not enough to meet up your lifestyle, and I like what you said about it's not because you have an expensive lifestyle. Even the very basic requires money, and because inflation, you know, our salaries are not, they don't match the inflation. But anyway, let's just go back to how I started. So this is something that and I suppose it's why everybody has a reason for doing what they do. You know, there's always a story behind every action that we take.
We have a story.
So my story is so when I grew up in a broken household, my parents' marriage broke down very early on when we were quite young actually. So I was born in the UK, my parents moved back to Nigeria, and they were just, you know, young couples starting their life from scratch. So when they moved back, the house that I remember I was staying at when I was growing up was a house that was rented. The landlady was a friend of my father's family, and then my mom, who was a caterer, I also remember that when we were growing up, she had a restaurant in Lagos, and the restaurant itself was owned by my father's side of the family. So anyway, and I'm saying this because it's kind of to put it in context, because at some point when the marriage then broke down, and my mom and dad kind of went their separate. My dad left, he literally just packed up and just left the country. My parents' marriage had broken down, so my mom was not at the point where she's now with single parent with two children under the ages of 10. She has a business that she's starting and the life that she's trying to build. But then what happened was, and I don't know the full details, at some point in that time, the owners of the house and the shop decided that they were going to evict us. They decided that it was time for us to go.
Oh my goodness.
So imagine a woman, early 30s, two children under the ages of 10, a brand new business that she's still trying to grow.
Where do you go?
You know, a marriage that's broken, and then now she's about to be homeless. She's about to be businessless. You know, so it was a lot. And I remember then, it was a time where I was going to secondary school. I went into boarding house. My first term, during the half-term break, my auntie came to pick me up. It wasn't my mom. And then I, where's mommy? She's like, oh, don't worry, you know, we're going, I'll take you to mom. Apparently what had happened was, my mom had gone through this period of, you know, being asked to leave the property, being asked to leave the shop, and she was really desperate to move and find a place. And in all of that chaos that was going on, it was just too much for her. And then a family, an uncle that lived in a different state, basically convinced her to move. So by the time this move was happening, was a time where I was in school, so my mom couldn't pick me up. So my auntie picked me up, and I was thinking we were going back to Lagos, to the house that I left. And the next thing we ended up in a different state, a different place. I'm like, what is this? So basically, exactly. And you know African parents, they don't tell you anything.
It's just like, we moved, end up.
I guess in my subconsciousness, that kind of plays a big role. I mean, it was something that was edging my subconsciousness, because we literally, our life was uprooted just like that. Just because somebody else made that decision, and we just didn't have any way to say, okay, this is it. So that was my first experience of homelessness. I mean, we weren't quite homeless, but you know, the whole idea of being
displaced.
Being displaced. And then the second time again, this was here in the UK. So we moved over. I was not young teenagers. We're staying with a relative, and then this particular day, something happened. My cousin wasn't very happy with the decision that I was making, and everything got escalated. And the next thing, it went from this small thing to, you guys need to leave now.
Oh my goodness.
You need to move. And again, just like that, you got displaced. Oh my God. I mean, we had a cool relationship. So that's when we had a cool relationship. It wasn't, in fact, the relationship wasn't an issue. You know, I actually want to put that there just in case my cousins are watching. Stop a misunderstanding got to the point of, you need to leave now. You don't realize, you know, I think when these things happen, you don't realize the impact that it has on people. And it's like almost like that was kind of edged in my subconsciousness. So for me, I made that decision. I was like, you know what, this is never gonna happen to me again. Wow. So that's where the journey started. So in my subconsciousness, in 2019, whatever it was, I was going to find a place. I was never going to be displaced. I was going to own my own place. So obviously, fast forward a few years when I could financially, you know, make that a possibility, I just went for it. I just started. I honestly believe, you know, when they say that, you know, everything that happens to you is for a reason. I have no bitterness towards my family. I have no bitterness towards any of those, because for me, it was like, that's literally what I needed to push me into this thing that I'm about to do. Exactly. So I'm actually quite grateful for that experience. But that's how we started the story.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, this is not the first time I'm hearing this. For y'all, might be the first time. Okay. So I heard that and I was like, oh my God. It's amazing how God makes our test a testimony. How it turns things around for us. Like, and you know, we need to often remember that we need to be in that place of despair to realize that there is an outcome that would definitely be better. Because if we were in a place where we're comfortable is not a place to be in, because you don't want to do nothing. You're just there, you're dying slowly. Because it's like, I don't know if you heard about or seen the video about that frog who's been slowly cooked. And didn't realize it because the heat wasn't turned
wasn't turned as much. So
they didn't know to jump out of the pot because it was being slowly cooked. So but when the heat is turned up on you, you know to act immediately, and your subconsciousness is in a survivor mode already. Oh, good. I'm so happy that you're able to turn around those experiences, because things like that break people and you know just scars you for life. So can you just tell us briefly, because I don't want my videos to be too long. I want my people who come on to watch to be able to get the the points that we're trying to share here. I want to inspire people to know that they can actually start looking at turning around whatever your personal experience is. You have a story to share. Your experience is not just something you've gone through. It's for you to pick some lessons out of it and hopefully build platforms on it that would bless yourself and also the people around you. So can you share with us tips that people can use to get into the property ladder? Because I'm sure a lot of people, just like myself, when I met you, I was thinking, I'm okay with my mortgage. We have a house. I'm working towards paying off my mortgage. Apparently that is not even a great move, because what you should be doing as an individual is making your money work for you. And what that means is, whilst it's good to want to pay off your mortgage, because me too, I'm speaking like a property person now, after hanging with her, it's rubbing off on me.
You're a property owner.
Oh my goodness. It's good to to take out some equity from your property and reinvest it in other properties, or even start up another business, so that way your money is not just tied down somewhere for some investors to make more money whilst you are not earning from that. Hopefully secure your future and your family's future in the process. So are you able to give us like tip 101 for anyone who wants to go into properties? What can they do to start up? Because I know a lot of people will probably say, I don't have any money to start up, I don't have any initial capital and everything.
That's usually the excuse.
What would be your advice?
So it depends. So I'll say I'm going to look at it in two parts. So if you're a first time buyer, you're still renting, you haven't bought a property yet and you want to, you need to go speak to your bank. Because basically you're saying to your bank, look, how much are you going to lend me? Tell me in principle what that is. I'm renting, I want to buy a property. How much can you borrow me, and can you let me know? So that process is called getting an agreement in principle, because that's going to inform the kind of house or flat that you're going to buy. Second thing, as a first time person, check your credit. I mean, actually this applies to everyone. Check and see what's on your credit file. Make sure that your credit is intact, there's no mistake, no issues there. Start saving for a deposit. If you're in the UK and a first time buyer, there's so many first time buyer schemes that you can apply to or that you might be eligible for, and that means that perhaps all you really need is a 5% deposit or a 10% deposit, but you need to know. And then once you've got all of this, then start looking, and it's literally as simple as that. I must say though, you need to have a job in the first place, because that's how they're going to determine if you can afford it. If you are not in an employment and you're self-employed, you need to have 2 years worth of accounts. So that's a very simple guide to someone that is starting afresh. Now for those that already have their own property but they're looking to now start investing, now this is the bit that you were talking about. It's this debate about the house that you live in, is it an asset or a liability? The truth of the matter is, the house that you live in, as long as you're constantly having to pay your mortgage, pay this bill, and no money is being generated from the house you live in, it's a liability. However, you can turn that into an asset. Asset is something that brings you money, right? So what you could do is, if you already have a property that you live in, is go back to your bank and say, look, how much is this house is worth this much? My mortgage is this much. There's a bit of equity, there's a bit of money sitting in this house. Can I get some of that money out? If you're then able to get some of that money can then be invested in another property that would then generate you money. So your initial property that you live in has now moved from being a liability to an asset, because it's now generating you money. Now there's so many ways to get started in property when you don't have enough money. I cover a lot of that in my training, and there's so much information out there, so you can look at things like rent to rent, lease options, assisted sale, doing a joint venture with other people just because you don't have enough money, but you can join with other people to buy. And that's one thing that I promote a lot. I'm a joint venture advocate, as I said, a joint venture queen. You can join an investment club. I have an investment club as well. So there's so many things you can do when you don't have as much money, but you can get into the property game even with very little money. So if you have your own property, that's a fantastic way to start. And of course, there's so many ways that you can actually access money as well to get you started. But one thing that we must do, and I'm very passionate about this, is we must invest in property. The reason being that property, amongst every other asset class for investment, is the one sure way of creating wealth. Passive income. So passive income is where you invest in something, you do the work once, but the money is recurring. And that's what property does. You buy a property, maybe you do it or rent out to your tenants, and then they continue to pay you for as long as you have that property. But property investing is something that we must do, and it's one of the easiest things to get into. And I feel like it's quite simple as well. You need to learn the ins and outs, but it's very easy to understand. Like think about like stocks, shares, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. Property is very simple. If you can buy a house, if you can rent a home, and property, it's one of the basic needs of human life. Is shelter. There will always be a need. There will always be a need for property. It never goes away. So it's one of those business that you want to get into. And again, with property, you can be as hands-on as you want, or you can be as hands-off as you want, depending on the structure that you want. But yeah, I am so I advocate property, and in particular I speak a lot to women as well. I speak a lot to women about creating that additional source of income. For a lot of women, maybe we have a family, you have, most times, when the family comes, we tend to kind of slow down, and you obviously, because you want to cater for your family, and there's nothing wrong with that for 4 children. However, we really need to continuously be thinking of how else to make extra money. Now, when you're taking care of your family, for example, you probably don't have as much time to do maybe to run a business or but property is something that you can easily, you can find the time to do property, and once you've done the work the one time, that's it, hands off, and that's it, and it starts to run itself. So unlike maybe with business where you might be a bit more involved. So again, I promote this amongst women as well. I work with a lot of women. A lot of all my joint ventures are women. Interestingly enough, so I'm very proud.
She's big on women empowerment.
Yes, I'm very proud about that. No, but seriously, it's something that, as a woman that is maybe just starting out, married, or it's something that you can easily get into. You just need to have a job, good credit, and have the willpower or the can-do attitude to go for it. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here to talk and share with your audience. I know you reach out to a lot of women as well, and if people have any questions about property, definitely reach out, and maybe we can do another session where we go particularly to different strategies. Because
we're just only scratching the surface, guys. There's so much to talk about. But just to clarify, because I know probably a lot of people, because we are of African descent, and in terms of securing loans and all that, would there be any kind of requirements in terms of you having to be a British citizen to gain access to them, or it's open to everyone as long as you're a legal resident resided in the UK? This applies to people who live in the UK. We can't speak of for any other areas.
Well, I think in terms of the United Kingdom, you can only access anything if you're legal.
So you don't have to be a British citizen.
You don't have to be a British citizen. Have a job paying tax, and you're legal. Obviously your credit is a big one, and you have a good credit, you can access funds anyway, any day, anytime.
Thank you so much, Bimbola, for sharing that. I hope you guys have really enjoyed this week's video, because yes, we're all about living life, doing life, and enjoying ourselves, but we try to try. So I thought this week, after all the faffing that we've done, let's talk serious business.
Yes.
securing the bank.
Secure
Making that money, that extra change, you know. We don't need to sit around before you guys come for me. Yes, woman advocates. We don't need to sit around for men until we do something.
That's all. No.
You know, we women should be securing our future, securing our family's future, the community, and hopefully things will move. You know, things will change if we have more women in the forefront doing things and not just waiting around. Thank you so much, Bimbola, for coming on Woona's World. I'm so grateful. I appreciate
Thanks
you
for having me.
Is there any last word you want to leave with us today, or you're just confident that you covered it? Because me, I know you've covered, you know, the major stuff. And if you guys got any property questions, I would leave Bimbola's details in the comment section below. Okay, all our contact details, everything you need to know. And if you want us to do another session on property, if you've got questions, please hit me up and I will invite this lovely lady again to come and enlighten us. Alright guys, so until my next video, you stay blessed and see you. Bye.